Hello and welcome to an off-meta deck profile brought to you by Double Sleeve. These off-meta deck profiles are going to be based around leaders and promotional cards that won't be really prominent in the meta, but they're going to be fun local decks and we hope that you really enjoy them. As with all of our deck profiles, everything's on screen going to be available to you right from the start, or you can stick around and as we talk through all of the deck profile. To start off with, we're going to have Broly. So we're doing the black promotional Broly leader. Auto on the front side, when this card attacks a leader card, you may choose one card in your life and place it in your drop area. If you do so, place up to 3 cards from the top of your deck in your drop area. Then your opponent chooses one card in their hand and places it in their drop area. So a little bit of hand destruction on the front side. Awakens, when your life is 4 or less, you may draw 2 cards and flip this card over. After awakening on the leader back, auto, when this card attacks, draw 1 card and you may choose one of your non-token, non-black battle cards and place it in your drop area. If you do so, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and places it in their drop area. Also has an active main. Once per turn, choose 1 card in your hand and place it in your drop area. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So that skill, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it, really handy because it actually KOs the card. Some cards get effects based off that and it's not just placed in the drop area. Also the leader is based around some hand destruction. The first card we have up here is the promotional card that came out in the last tournament kit, which is Broly Unknown Power. So this card here, permanent, if your leader card is black, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1, so it becomes a 1 cost in this deck. When this card is played from your hand, your opponent may look at your life. If they do, you draw 2 cards. Your opponent chooses up to 2 cards in your life and places them in your drop area. Then you may add that many cards from the top of your deck into your life and then shuffle your life. Really important skill. What you find most of the time is your opponent isn't going to want to let you draw 2 cards for paying 1 energy, so they won't want to look at your life. And we'll see the cards that are coming up soon to play off this active main skill, which is for 2 black energy. If your leader card is a black Broly, you may place 1 card from your life in your drop area, look at your life and evolve up to 1 Broly with a evolve skill from your life on top of this card, then shuffle your life, and you can't play battle cards for the turn. So you're only going to be able to play the 1 battle card for the turn with the evolve skill, but you'll generally want to get this off pretty early to start hand destruction chain. The 2 Brawlers that we have here, so the first one is the green Broly, the Rampaging Horror. He's a double striker, but the auto, when this card is played, choose up to 2 cards from your opponent's hand and randomly place them in at random and place them in the drop area. So you get to randomly place cards, it's not your opponent's choice. The other target we have is the 7 drop, which is Broly the Supreme Berserker. He is a critical barrier, but has a great auto. Auto once per turn, burst 5. When this card attacks, if your leader card is a Broly card, then choose 1. If your opponent has 3 or less cards in their hand, switch this card to active mode, so you can essentially get a dual attack critical. Or if your opponent has 4 or more cards in their hand, they reveal their hand, choose 1 card from it, and your opponent places it in the drop area. So you get to know a bit of hand knowledge and also a bit of hand destruction. So obviously this leader is going to be built around hand destruction. It's not going to be really oppressive, but it's going to be a little bit of fun and a little bit janky as well. You can tend to get this one pretty early. Obviously having the active main on that 1 drop or 2 drop black Broly, you want to be charging 2 black energy at the start, so majority is going to be charging black at the start, so you can get that off straight away while your life is still high. You can use it to self-awaken and also get a bit of hand destruction going on. Moving on in the deck, we have a little bit of the old Vegeks engine. So with the leader card on its front side, you're going to be putting a few cards in the drop area. So here we have Time Agent Vegeta. Unique, only 1 copy of this card can be played in your battle area. Permanent, if this card will be removed from your battle area, it is sent to the owner's warp instead. And auto, if your leader card is a black Saiyan card, when this card is placed in your drop area from your deck by a skill, you may play this card from your drop area. So you get that free play 19k Vegeta. Active battle once per turn, which probably won't come up as much. So for 2 energy, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less and send it to its owner's warp. Handy if you need to remove some of those little cards, but not really probably what we're going for with the energy costs in this deck. Time Agent Trunks is the next one. Obviously very similar skill, so unique. Only one copy of this card can be played in your battle area. He's a blocker. Auto, when this card is played, add up to one card from your life to your hand. Again, you get a little bit of that self-awakening if needed to get to that leader backside. And the auto, if your leader card is a Black Zane card, when this card is placed in your drop area from your deck by a skill, you may play this card from your drop area. Small Vegeks package there, but very handy, especially when you're putting cards in the drop on the front side. Over a little bit more unique, this package, but a little fun, little bit of janky tech to put in the deck. I have played this and I've gotten it off. So Temptation of the Mask, extra card, so 2 cost. If your leader card is a Black Zane only card and you place 1 Black Bardock Xeno, King Vegeta Xeno, or Broly, which obviously we've got a few Brolys in this deck, from your drop area to the top of your deck, at the end of the turn, play up to 1 Dark Broly card, or 1 battle card with an energy cost of 4 or less and mass in its character name from the deck, and then shuffle your deck. So a couple of targets we've got. Obviously you can change up the Dark Broly targets as well. There's a few that are available and you don't have to play the Black Marseillan card in there. You could swap that out for Brolys, but the 2 that I've picked here fit the theme. So we're not really worried about the active main because that's linked to the Dark Broly leader, but the auto, when this card is played, send up to 1 battle card from your opponent's drop area to their warp, and then your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and sends it to the warp. You can't play copies of this card for the turn. So again, fits with that hand destruction theme. The other one, again, a little bit left field, but it's Black Marseillan, so is a critical. During your turn, if your leader card is black and there's a total of 15 or more Saiyan cards in your and your opponent's drop area, when this card attack is negated, or when this card fails to deal damage to your opponent's in a battle with their leader card, choose up to 1 card in your opponent's life and sends it to the warp. So it's going to get damage going through pretty much regardless. A small green package that we have, because on with this leader, if you remove one of your non-token, non-black battle cards, so we need a different color in there, and green fits with what we've got here. And again, trying to keep it a little bit thematic here. We have Cheelai, Frieza Force Soldier. Auto, when this card is played, draw 1 card. So this deck does like a little bit of draw power, so you don't mind drawing an extra card when you're playing a card. Active main for 2 energy. Choose up to 1 Green Frieza's army card with an energy cost of 2 or less in your deck and play it, then shuffle your deck. So the target we're looking for with that is Cheelai the Beautiful. Auto, once per turn, when one of your opponent's battle cards is KO'd, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and places it in their drop area. On theme with the hand destruction, and also works off the leader ability as well, the fact that he KOs a battle card instead of just placing in the drop area. Another 1 drop, because we do want to remove cheap targets from our field if we do have them. So we've got Nappa on guard, so he's a blocker, so a little bit of defensive pressure there. Auto switches card to rest mode. When your opponent uses a skill to play a battle card with an energy cost greater than their current energy, they choose 1 card in their hand or 1 of their battle cards and place it in the owner's drop area. So a little bit of removal either way, they get the choice, but you can choose how you use this, whether you keep it as a blocker or try and use it to put that hand destruction or removal pressure on as well. To help get our little 1 cost out as well, we've got Hasty Dispatch Dispo in the list. He has an active main, so you want this guy in the drop area. If there are no cards in your battle area when you send this card from your drop to your warp, choose 1 battle card with an energy cost of 1 in your drop area and play it with its skills negated. So if you're struggling with a field, you need to get your leader ability off. Really cheap, you just send him from your drop to your warp and you get that free play out there. Everything needs to be free play, as cheap as possible nowadays. For our Overwhelm package, we have Relentless Destruction Mirror. So he's an Overwhelm 3. Auto, when playing this card using Overwhelm, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and places it in their drop area. Again, that hand destruction. Defensively, so this Bardock can be played Overwhelm 6 with Overwhelm 6, or it's also got a great active battle where if your leader card is black and you discard this card from your hand, place up to 1 of your place 1 card from your life in your drop area and your leader card doesn't take damage for the battle. So against those really big attackers, I've used it myself to catch a lot of people by surprise, going in for a double strike win, triple strike. They swing a shotgun, pay 1 black energy. If you're ever against black, you shouldn't shotgun because you've got to expect that they're going to have this card in their hand. For bit of Dark Overwhelm, again, to fit in with that hand destruction. We've got Demon God Demograd True Power Unleashed. Auto, when this card is played using Overwhelm or Dark Overwhelm, draw one card, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and send it to their warp. Great removal. And then auto, when this card attacks your opponent, chooses one card in the hand, sends it to the warp. So great for 2 energy, 30k beta. Also the fact that it's adding to that hand destruction, making sure that with Dark Overwhelm you do have 5 black battle cards in your drop area before activating it. Onto our defensive package here. So we have 4 of the Oceania Shenron negative energy explosion. Great counter attack, also a blocker. So counter attack, choose one card in your hand, discard it, negate the attack, play this card. If you played a card from your opponent, your opponent can't attack for the turn unless they place 4 cards from their deck in their drop area each time, milling your opponent out and punishing them for attacking. Not always going to be the strongest compared to a Topo or a Boo, but also very defensive when you got decks nowadays that draw and filter a lot from their deck. So a really good defensive card, very strong. 4 of, you could probably drop it to a 3 of if you really need to, but with this leader it needs a lot of defense because it doesn't have a lot, especially with how quickly it awakens and it struggles with draw power. So you want to really try and defend as much as possible, having that blocker and having that mill protects you that little bit more. The next defensive card, staple in black, Petrification. Counter attack, if your leader card is black, negate the attack and you may choose one card in your hand, place it in your drop area. If you place the card in your drop area, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and it can't attack, be placed in your opponent's combo area or activate skills until the end of their next turn, or of your next turn. So really good defensive card. Our super combo, Super Saiyan Vegeta, the Prince Strikes Back, bottom deck 1, draw 2, pretty standard super combo, but very strong. Great to cycle through and get rid of pieces in your hand if they're blocking your hand up a little bit, but we're pretty good in this deck because we don't have unisons. More if you've got those 1-cost combo Broly's and you want to get them back into your deck because you don't have the energy to combo with them. To help with the draw, we have Great Ape Son Goku, Saiyan Instinct. So pay 2, send this card from your drop area to your warp and draw 2 cards. And for our secret rare, which you can change out a little bit, I've gone with the Wicked Saiyans. Really strong secret rare. Permanent, if this card is removed from your battle area, remove it from the game instead. Another permanent, if your opponent has 2 or more energy and your leader card is green, yellow, or shares a character name with this card gains dual attack and blocker. So obviously we've got Broly on the card there, so we can use that because our leader is Broly. Auto 2, at the end of battle in which this card was used in a combo from your hand, your opponent may choose 4 of their cards and switch them to rest mode. If they do, remove this card in your drop area from the game. If they don't, play this card from your drop area and your opponent chooses 2 cards in their hand and discards them. Again, adding to that hand destruction, you want to make sure if you're doing this, your opponent either only has 4 cards if you really want to shut down their turn and you're not relying on the secret rare, or they've only got 3 cards they can actually switch to rest mode so that it's guaranteed to come out. And then you're going to add to that hand destruction, you're also going to get that blocker out there as well to protect yourself. That's the deck profile. Let us know what you think in the comment section. If you would change anything, add anything. I've played this at my locals and had a lot of fun with it. If there are any other decks that you would like to see featured on this section, please let us know which leader cards, if there's a promotional card or any other cards you want to see, try and make them work in a deck. Always happy to hear it. Be sure to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.